He stared at Patch for several seconds. Patch grinned, still astounded by Meynkewitz's youthful appearance. "You look great, Ray. I knew you'd show up at my door. You're Captain Patch Kincaid. How do you know my name?" He raised the butt of his hand to his forehead. "Damn it, I thought she was crazy." "Kate?" Meinkewitz sat on the edge of the desk and shook his head. "I didn't believe her. This has to be a phony setup." "No, Ray, I am from your future. We worked together at Sector 13 in Colorado. Time displacement experiments, 1986. U.S. cities get blown up, that's what she said. And you think I was going to mount a horse and start ringing out that news throughout the countryside?" Patch smiled again and tapped him on the shoulder. "Gee, it's good to see you alive again, Ray. Do you realize what this could do to my credibility?" "Where is she?" "I didn't believe her, and I don't believe you. Where is she?" Meinkewitz banged on the desk and then marched to the window. He crossed his arms and kept shaking his head as he gazed outside. "I need proof. Listen, I had to leave quickly. I will tell you what I told her." He faced Patch, biting his lip like an angry child. "She didn't know about the Zeta 7 part, but give me one bit of proof, a coin, film, record, anything." "I have an open mind. We were forced out. I didn't get the briefcase with everything in it. I was only supposed to go back a couple of weeks, Ray. After they killed you, I ran into the chamber." "Oh, so I died back there. Isn't that peachy? You're alive now. Well, I'm beginning to wonder." He kept talking as he retreated to his desk and sat in the oak chair. "She said you ran out, but she never mentioned me being killed. And I still don't believe you. Where is she? Is she alive?" Meinkewitz opened the middle drawer and waved a wood-grain handgun through the air. "Okay, let's get down to business. Hey, you better start talking and tell me right away who you work for, Patch." Meinkewitz scampered around the desk and slowly placed the gun into Patch's ribs. Patch breathed erratically and his voice shook. "Listen, I am from the future. I work for you up in Sector 13, the carved-out mountain." "Sector 13. She described the area in Colorado. We couldn't find it. Nothing carved out of the mountain like she said. That's years away, damn it. What's my wife's name, Patch?" "Lynn." "My favorite food is fish and chips, right?" "No, Ray, you hate fish and chips. You're from Brooklyn and were an avid Dodgers fan even after they moved west. Your wife has a degree in, what the hell is it? A botany specialty. I can't remember. You once, Patch. These are all common things. And your predecessor who contacted me a month. Where is Kate? You're in no position to be asking anything. If you're working for the other side, I'm glad. I've never seen such incompetence in such a stupid-ass story." Meinkewitz yanked the gun away, but kept it pointed at him. He turned, lifted the phone, and dialed a number. "You'll be debriefed until you wish you'd never come in here, buddy. Ray, I am from the future. Give me an outside line." Patch's heart thumped. Meinkewitz listened to the line and then began dialing.
"I need to place a call to Mr. Robert Dietrich in Stebbins, Virginia."
"I don't know how I'm going to convince you." Meinkewitz pointed at him. "You'd better convince me. I can tell you how history unfolded. Kate Landis did that," he said as he listened to the phone again. "Yes, I have the number." He looked at Patch and then ducked down behind the oak desk. With just the top of his head showing, Meinkewitz said something in a low voice as Patch smiled, and then he stood. "What are you grinning at?" "Your security measures hiding under the desk." Meinkewitz waved the gun with his other hand. "This is no joke." Then he adjusted the phone.
"Get me Bob Dietrich."
"This is Ray Meinkewitz." "Well, where the hell is he?" "Wait, your wife. You two were going together. You introduced her as your wife. Your mother-in-law sent this letter to you." An expression fell from Meynkewitz's face. He let the phone slide slowly away from his ear and down his cheek as he squinted. "What? You burned that letter and never told anyone. You just happened to mention it to me after you met Kate at Sector 13. He put the phone back on the hook, placed the gun in the drawer, and raised his index finger. "While someone might have questioned my mother-in-law about this, no one knew. I burned the damn thing. Tell me, Captain, will Kennedy get elected in 1964? "Yes, he clobbers Senator Goldwater." "That's what Kate told me before we put her, Well, we put her away, damn it. I thought she was crazy. Where is she? Meinkewitz stared at him. You're here to change the future. Just how do you intend to do that, Captain? It's complicated. Meinkewitz sat at the edge of his desk. He reached back and pulled a cigar box across the blotter. Cigar? Patch shook his head and Meinkewitz lit up a tightly wrapped cigar. He took a few puffs until the ashes reddened. Then he exhaled. The floor is all yours, Captain. Can I call you Patch? Usually do. Why are you here? She basically had nothing relevant to say. Patch sat on the edge of the desk. He had the distinct feeling he could gain favor with this Meinkewitz. That's your fault. Meinkewitz scratched his head. My fault? You kept her out of the discussions when she and I arrived at Sector 13, Ray. The retrograde obviously hasn't taken her back. Retrograde is a theory, a classified theory. Unless I came back in time. You watched her, didn't you? Thinking that if she did come back in time, she would be retrograded back. I know you were the one who pushed that theory into reality in the 70s. The 70s? That's a good one. Meinkewitz puffed and talked with a cigar lodged in his incisors. Then he nodded his head. Okay, you win. I do? Yeah, I believe you. For now. First of all, we're getting the hell out of here. I want an official debriefing. We'll go over to the Barton Library, and you're going to tell me everything you know. Leave nothing out. And if you're truthful, I'll cooperate. Do what you need me to do. He grabbed a yellow pad and 2 pens. Then I'll take you to her. But if you're lying, who knows what the hell they'll do to you.
Chapter 10. Stebbins, Virginia, Sunday, February 26, 1961, 2:35 p.m. Cuba became more of a complicated problem than gathering information on the Nazis and the Gestapo in World War II. Switzerland back then was an excellent neutral place to be gathering intelligence. But the United States in 1961 was hardly neutral. Castro had just married himself to Khrushchev to protect his new communist archipelago. From an intelligence perspective, with the looming Russian arsenal, everything Ashcamp did had to be disguised, even the invasion. Bill Pladen came back on the phone from Miami.
What if Kennedy rejects Kane's next plan? I don't like the Joint Chiefs reformulating what we already know.
Ashcombe gripped the phone. AC Rav's funding is intact. It's only a matter of implementation. I'll call you back when Fletch Knight leaves, Bill. Okay?
Robert, I would like to get John Kane in your office with Fletch. If this Cuban thing isn't going forward, we have to adjust.
Noted.
And I'm convinced, as is Clay Naback, that Fletcher knows more than he's telling you about the shenanigans in Cuba.
Why would you say that?
Dan Preslin's bragging about how he knows Johnny Rosselli and every other member of organized crime. Danny Boy's mixed it up with Frank Regano and company at the Flamingo Lounge in Miami.
Barroom talk is not concrete, said Ashcombe. I need concrete intelligence.
Nobody will give concrete.
I'll call you later today after this meeting. We have a rogue elephant, Kincaid, the guy picked up by Ray Meinkewitz in New Jersey.
Just like Landers, a story that makes no sense. Send Kincaid down here, we'll find out who he is.
I will consider that. Goodbye, Bill. Ashcombe tapped his pipe in the ceramic ashtray. His schedule had accelerated with the evolving Cuban situation. Hemispheric covert operations consumed his time, and in just a few days he would personally brief the president about plans for the possible Cuban invasion. More importantly, he awaited word on this mysterious Kincaid. Having the same bizarre time travel cover as the Landis woman was odd. The walnut door opened and his gray-haired secretary leaned inside. "Mr. Knight is here." "Send him in," said Ashcombe as he stood. Fletcher Knight, his hair combed straight back, and his worsted brown suit without a wrinkle, carried his leather briefcase inside. He looked directly into Ashcombe's eyes but said nothing. "What have you got, Fletcher?" "Robert, Daniel just called me again about Kincaid. He says Kincaid's story continues to show even more similarities to what the Landers woman has told us." Ashcombe nodded. Kate Landers had held firm about the bullshit of coming back through time. He smiled at the cunning way someone sent her into the mix. I just don't know what she's trying to penetrate or what he's up to. It's a ridiculous cover. He finished running the checks on Kincaid's background. Like Landis, he doesn't exist. But he knew about Zeta-7. And I've been researching Colonel Bob Kincaid. He's a trusted operative monitoring the U-2 from the naval base in Japan. Interesting, he said, pushing his intercom button. Harriet, get me John Kane in here. Knight did not flinch. John? I want to talk to him about the technical aspects of this science because Meinkewitz says Kincaid knows the science of dilation experiments in detail, and he claims that Bob Kincaid is his father. Knight wrote something on his small brown leather notebook and tucked it back in his suit coat pocket. Fletcher, are we still using Johnny Rosselli in the Caribbean? And has Dan Breslin met with him? Knight again stared at him before speaking. Well, I'm certain Rosselli, as you know, has consulted with a few people, Robert. I don't see an active role, and I know nothing of Dan meeting with Johnny Rosselli. I don't trust Johnny Rosselli. I don't trust Carlos Marcello. I don't trust Santo Trafficante or Sam Giancana. And you can add Jimmy Hoffa and his union thugs to my list. You deal with their ilk and you expose yourself to blackmail. Knight opened his briefcase on the oak side table. He removed several reports and handed them to Ashcombe. These reports are self-explanatory. I have a transcript of Menkiewicz's questioning of Kincaid. Ashcombe nodded and set the pipe in the ashtray and then sat down. We need someone to dissect his story and establish how his cover was set up, said Knight as he closed and locked the briefcase. Call Mike Choden before he goes back to Mexico City, said Ashcombe as he glanced up. Brief him and fly him directly up with Meinkewitz and Kincaid. I don't like this. These people are mystery people, and that's dangerous. We have too much at stake here over the next few months. To have people like Kincaid and Landis blowing into town. Did either one of these individuals mention Cuba? Ashcombe slowly tightened his fist on the mahogany armrest as he read out loud. Let me read this. Eyes only secret questioning of Captain Patch Kincaid. Barton College Library, R. Meinkewitz, February 25th, 1961, 1800 EST. Meinkewitz question, what do you know about my work, Mr. Kincaid? Kincaid, Captain Kincaid. And then he tells Meinkewitz that he worked with Hollis Lemansky, quantizing electrons in electromagnetic fields. And now he says that Meinkewitz is trying to teleport particles through time. And he knows about Menkiewicz's request to furnish an accelerator to move matter back and forth through time. Well, security has damn well been compromised. He knows what Ray is doing and how he's doing it. Ashcombe read that Kincaid claimed he had traveled back from 1986. He described U.S. cities being blown up by portable nuclear weapons devices. Portable weapons devices. Interesting concept. Mike Choden understands propaganda. He needs to find out about this ridiculous 1986 story. Knight tilted his head. You aren't believing this time travel malarkey, are you? All aspects of Kincaid's story will be explored. He set down the report. These mystery people potentially threaten all world stability. I want a photograph of this man circulated now. I would advise bringing in Dr. Braun. He'll pump some exotic drugs into Kincaid, and Kincaid will be telling us how it was like inside his mother's womb. Tentatively set up Braun, he said as he held the pipe in his hand. Landis never mentioned Zeta-7 or AC Rav, correct? No, she didn't, said Knight. We'll send out the photo, Robert. Ashcombe's intercom buzzed. Send out both photos, Landers and Kincaid. Knight nodded and Ashcombe pushed the button. Yes.
Mr. Kane is here.
Please, send him in. Ashcombe observed Knight squint very slightly. The man never showed his feelings. The door opened and a tall man with trim-peppered hair and black glasses entered the room. Gentlemen, he said as he glanced at Knight but said nothing. Ashcombe placed both hands on the desk and leaned toward Kane. John, I won't hold you up. I know this is unscheduled. Is there a connection between Bob Kincaid, the colonel with the U-2 in Japan, and that guy that showed up on Ray Meinkewitz?